again. It feels really nice. So it is 6 o'clock. Rabbi Harper is in my office leading us on Zoom. We are in the sanctuary with our student Rabbi Lesner. Let's begin.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's sing. Yanai, 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 If we're waiting, then we can keep on singing. Let's join together with one of these. Romemu, 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 Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we have a special Thank God It's Shabbat service this evening with our youth community helping us to lead. And I know many of our youth learners are already in the room this evening, which gives us a special opportunity before Shabbat comes and we welcome Shabbat and we take a break to perform the last act of creation. The last work that we can do before we bring in Shabbat is holy work, and that's to give tzedakah. So if you are under the age of 13 or have not yet become bar-mitzvah, I have tzedakah up here. I want to invite you to the bima to come help us give tzedakah, and let's continue singing while we do so.
How good it is that we can all be here together. Let's join together. Hine matov. Hine matov. Umanayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov. Umanayim sheberachim gam yachad. How good it is. How good it is. How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is. How good it is. Oh, how sweet it is. How sweet it is. To be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim sheberachim gam yachad.
Let's open it up, yes, as you asked. If you're in the congregation, you're able, please rise as we have our confirmation students leading us this evening. For many of you, you were last on this bima at your bar and bat mitzvah service. And now here you return, about to graduate from high school, celebrating confirmation. And I am extremely excited that you're here. As you know, our bar mitzvah class is much larger, but you continued your studies through 8th grade and 9th grade and 10th grade and 11th grade and certainly 12th grade. And so tonight you lead us, and we're confident that you're going to lead us for many years to come, dedicated to the life of the Jewish people and strengthening us as you go forth. And so we're going to say the blessing over the talis together. Perhaps you remember it from your bar and bat mitzvah. See, here we go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzi. And let's place our talises on as leaders of the community. We're all going to have a seat, and we're going to begin with our first reading, because it's become a tradition that our confirmands all write essays. For those in the sanctuary, you've received a copy of them all, and Hannah Carney has invited a few people to read excerpts of their writing. And so, Julie, if you'll come forward.
Should I go on this? 15 years ago today, and a few hours earlier, I was at Temple Beth Elohim. But rather than reading my 12th grade confirmation statement, I was at the Temple preschool celebrating Shabbat. On Fridays, one of the preschoolers' families would come in to light the candles and to lead the class in prayer. I've seen pictures of me with my parents and grandparents on my day, one of my fists holding my share of challah and the other raising a cup of grape juice in the air. These days would bring me so much joy. Although at the age of 3 I couldn't quite understand these feelings, I'm now able to reflect that these days gave me a sense of belonging, a sense that I was part of something bigger than myself. Jewish traditions, like the ones which I first learned about and grew to love during preschool, are what make Judaism so meaningful to me.
Thank you. And so for the tradition of lighting the Sabbath candles, we would like to call upon our educators who work with our students, Devin and Leah and Hannah and Eliana and Allie and Allison. If you'll come forward to light our candles this evening, let's join with Cantor Rosenberg. Page 120 are the words on the screen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Lehadlikne shel Shabbat.
Thank you for all you do in teaching our children and our students and our teens. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let us continue now in song with our tefillah band, page 130, Havana Shira, Let Us Sing. With 2 confirmands leading us vocally.
Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava Nashira. Shira, Shir Hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
And continuing, welcoming Shabbat with the words Lecha Dodi, come, let us greet the bride. Come, let us welcome Shabbat.
Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha Hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litchi
Come, let us greet Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
Likrat Shabbat Ruel Necha Ki Mikor HaBeracha Mirosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh
V'masha batchila lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kiva Orech, Kumi Uri, Uri Uri, Shir Daveri, Kevod Adonai, Alaich
Nigla lecha Dodi
Likrat Kala,
Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat
Nekabela.
Lai lai
Yai lai lai, yai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai, yai lai lai,
If you're able, let's all rise, face the doors of the sanctuary, and welcome the Sabbath bride into our hearts, into our souls.
Boi vishalom,
Enter in peace,
ateret
enter in gladness
ba'ala,
and enjoy.
kam b'simcha,
Come to us.
ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה. B'nei Shabbat nekavela, olecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekavela.
B'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat
We continue on page page 147 standing. We're going to return. Jared's going to lead us in a reading that we haven't read since March of 2020, when we went to Zoom without prayer books. And now that we have prayer books once again in the sanctuary, let's join Jared in this reading.
There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song.
Yivarech, let us bless.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Let's all be seated and turn to page 149 as Dana leads us in the English. We'll join together.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Sarah, with her personal statement.
Sorry. To me, Judaism is a song. It is a multitude of melodies, of flavors and cultures, of people who can come as they are and be embraced unconditionally. I love music for the same reasons I love Judaism. They are calming, creative, generational, ever-growing and changing, and a beautiful way to bring people together. My favorite prayer is Ahavat Olam. With an eternal love, have you loved your people?
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha,
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 la la la, yai lai lai la la la, yai lai 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 la, yai lai 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 la.
Both of you have become such beautiful prayer leaders that I hope wherever your journey takes you, you enter a synagogue and tell them that you have this ability because they will gobble you up, either as a religious school teacher or a prayer leader. So beautifully done.
Amen.
Let us now continue with the words of Shema, reminding us that God is all around us. We just need to learn to let God in.
Page 152 are the words on the screen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
And the Shema continues on page 154 with the words of Ve'ahavta. Let's join together with Rachel and with Michael.
Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha u'divartam bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'chumecha u'shartam leot yadecha v'hayu mitotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Yasher Koach. Thank you. Let's continue page 157 as we prepare for this joyous song of redemption of Mi Chamocha. We'll hear our English reading first.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness,
that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands marching together.
So let's continue with the words of Mi Chamocha.
משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לי לי לי
So let's continue with a rendition of our Hashkivenu prayer that you can find on page 161. Our students have grown up with this as your anthem. Let there be love and understanding among us. So let's join together. I want to see some hand motions from our youth. Join together in some good harmonies.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, L'Shalom. V'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu L'chaim. Uvros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom. Hashkivenu, let there be love and understanding among us. Hashkivenu, shelter from life's storm. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Anna, come on up.
A way that I honor Shabbat each week is through baking challah. At summer camp in 2015, I made my first challah. When I returned home, I was so excited to make a loaf for my family for the next Shabbat, but when they tried it, they said, "This challah is too dense." I then tried recipe after recipe until I found a more traditional challah. When I made a loaf for my family again, they said, "This challah isn't sweet enough." They are a tough crowd. At that point, I decided that if there was no perfect recipe, I would just have to make one myself. And finally, a few years of challah making, testing different ratios of flour, egg, and honey, I perfected my recipe. Whenever I sprinkle some extra flour or knead the dough, I feel connected to my shtetl ancestors who probably measured by feel like me, and I feel connected to this weekly Jewish ritual. Now when I bake a braided challah, sometimes oval, sometimes round, never with raisins, I always have to make 2 or more loaves because there has to be enough for my family, friends, and other Jewish families that request Hannah's challah for the holidays. I now love how my challah is a way for me to share part of my Jewish identity with the people around me.
Hannah, never with raisins. This is true. Shabbat is a day that is different from every other day in the course of the week, and one of the ways that we mark this day as different and special is that we don't ask for anything that we don't already have. Instead, we bask in the beauty of what we already do have, because it's so much. And so, as we turn to the Amidah on page 164, we take a moment to note our own gratitude. What is it from this past week that has inspired us to praise? What has inspired us to say, wow, what an amazing life this is? Page 164, we rise for the Amidah.
Adonai, Sifatai Tifta. Yagi tehilatecha Adonai sefatai tifta Yagi tehilatecha our lips that we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we can feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole. And we will praise your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tifta. V'yagi tehilatecha Adonai, Sefatai Tifta. V'yagi tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevei Geulai v'neihem, L'man Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magan Avraham, v'Ezrat Sarah.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with the silent meditations of our own hearts, using the words of the Siddur, or the words that come to our souls.
For those on Zoom typing in words of gratitude in the chat room, in the sanctuary, when you've completed your prayer, we'll take our seats once again. As we turn to the words, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, let peace descend on us, on all Israel, on all the world.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oseh Shalom
We have learned something very special in this last few years when we've been able to pray and be together on Zoom. And that is not that just our prayers, they come together and they might rise a little higher. But on Zoom, our prayers are often documented for all to see and for all also to join us in our prayer. So we have been, for many years on Zoom during the Misha Berach, asking those of you to put the name of a loved one in the chat so that we might remember them together. We'll ask for you to do that tonight. And thanks to our Caring Connection specialist, Susan Karen, who's probably off caring somewhere, she has developed a new way for us in person to collect the prayers that you might have so that they might reach our community and our clergy. That's to say, when you read our Shabbat announcement, there's an opportunity for you to click a button and to share with us the joys or perhaps the oys, the challenges and the illnesses that you might be feeling in your own life so that they might make their way to us as clergy and to our Caring Connections volunteers as well. So we want to invite you to take a look and to share with us so that we can be with you in that space of joy or in that space of pain. So that leads us this evening to our Misha Berach prayer. We're here together in the sanctuary. I'm going to invite you to rise if you're thinking of someone who is in need of healing, whether it be physically or emotionally or spiritually. Hopefully the names are coming in, the prayers are coming in on the chat. Our clergy will make our way around to hear the names of those you're thinking of, and let us join our prayers together. Do we miss anyone? So along with all those who we are praying for on Zoom, we join together page 371.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And Rabbi Sapphire, if you'll come join me for Shehechianu moments, because we share those God-given times. And some people did call in Shehechianu moments, but they're written in about 4-point font. So I can't read a thing on this page.
That's what you
All I
need
know
for.
is that I do want to share that Cantor Zell called me this morning and permitted me to share that her surgery went well and that she just received good pathology results. So we are very grateful. What else is on
Beautiful.
4-point font? Yes.
So we have Bar Mitzvah to acknowledge. Jordan and Cam and Bella become Bar Mitzvah. Mazel tov to all of you for your leadership that you'll give our community tomorrow. Rabbi Carol Mitchell also welcomed a new grandchild into the world this week, so we send a mazel tov to her. And I just got a little whisper in my ear to remind me that Ella lost a tooth this week as well.
So we don't have Zoom open, but I'm sure people are raising their hand on Zoom, so perhaps they can use the chat box to record any special sacred moments they've shared during the past week. At this point, I would like to call Hannah Carney forward because obviously it is a special moment when our graduates reach this moment in time of confirmation. So Hannah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I want to share a little bit with you all today about what makes this confirmation moment so special and what makes this group of 12th graders so special. The seniors who are present here today have gone above and beyond. Their contributions to this community have been amazing throughout the past 5 years. They've served as madrechim and music madrechim. Some of you who are here today might actually recognize some of these confirmands as your madrechim and music madrechim. They've even gotten up really early on Sunday mornings to be there, which is no small feat for a group of teenagers. They've been a core part of their Jew-Man group and Hollaback Girls groups, meeting every month for years with Devin or Leah to hone their identities and form deep friendships. They've led our Manhigu Council, or Teen Leadership Board. Many of these teens have showed up day after day, sometimes 4 to 5 times in one single week, or more. These teens have had anything but ordinary Havaya experiences. When our community went virtual, these teens anchored our Havaya community, challenging us to create a warm and inclusive community even when we were just online. When we returned this year, these teens helped us shape a vision for how we would reconnect in person. Throughout these past few months, our confirmands have spent time reflecting, learning, and preparing for their next steps. We asked each to look around during this sacred moment and take stock of their Jewish values, connections, and beliefs. We explored difficult topics such as anti-Semitism, and we learned about Israel and the connection we have to Am Israel, Jewish peoplehood. Towards the end of the process, we asked each teen to answer a seemingly simple question: what does being Jewish mean to you? Tonight, you have already heard a few excerpts from their answers. The complete projects were shared with you in a booklet as you enter today, and if you didn't get one, please take one on the way out because their statements are beautiful. So, a little note. Our confirmands are about to receive a blessing by the Ark in a few minutes, and we will be giving them a couple of gifts, but they're going to be hidden inside of an envelope, so I want to tell you a little bit about what those gifts are. One part, of course, is a certificate to mark this sacred moment. Another part is a blessing from a member of our TB staff, which our confirmands will hear during dinner. The final gift is a little bit of an inside joke. So if you have become bar mitzvah at TBE, you received something on the bima. Does anyone remember what that was? A Havaya keychain. And so at this moment, you get a second keychain. But this time, it's a Havaya alumni keychain. And our hope is that the symbolism is that you will go forward on this journey, whether to college campus or a gap year, and as you collect new keys for a dorm room or apartment, we are on that journey with you, here to support you along the way. We are always just a phone call or a text message away. So join us as a full community as we hug our confirmands closer with blessing and ritual, and as we send them on to forge the next chapters of their Jewish journeys.
Thank you so much. So, after services, you're going to go to dinner, but I want to teach a small amount of Torah. But we also know that it's TGIS, and it says in the Torah, thou shalt not make TGIS more than an hour. So I'm going to be really brief. But I want to teach 3 things, because confirmation usually occurs around the holiday of Shavuot. And on Shavuot, it is the day on which we celebrate God's giving the Torah on Mount Sinai. So why celebrate confirmation around the time when we celebrate God's giving the Torah to Mount Sinai? Number 1, to receive the Torah at Mount Sinai, they simply had to just show up. And that's what you all did. You showed up year after year after year. And some have said that 90% of life is just showing up, being present, and that's what you've done. So I hope you continue to just show up. Number 2, God spoke at Mount Sinai. According to the Torah, God spoke in a loud voice, so loud that the mountain actually shook. People were afraid. And I think at that moment, God actually said, oh my gosh, instead of oh my God, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to speak like that again. Instead, I'm going to whisper. Which means I think God still speaks just like at Mount Sinai. But God doesn't speak that loud. God just whispers, which means we have to listen even more closely. This is to say that in the next period of your lives, I think if you listen closely, you might actually hear God's whisper. It might be when you meet a friend, someone new, that's going to be the friend for the rest of your life. That's pretty powerful. You may fall in love. You may sit in a class and say, whew, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You are headed into a period where God speaks, and my prayer is that you're just able to create the space and the silence to listen. And finally, number 3, not only do you have to just show up, create the space to listen to God's whisper, but the people did it together. And that's what I hope you do. Do it in community. When something great happens to you, I hope you come back and share it with us. When something maybe not so great happens to you, and that will happen too, I hope you come back and share it with us. That is what Jewish community is all about, and we want to continue to be a part of your journey. So we will all want to say, our whole community, mazel tov to you for reaching this moment. We're going to speak more about each one of you at the dinner, but we want to bless you in front of the ark, each one of you. It will take a couple of minutes to recite the priestly benediction. It's COVID. We haven't done this in 3 years. So what I would like to do is place my hands upon your head, just like I did at your bar and bat mitzvah. You were a little smaller at that time. But I guess instead of a hug, we'll go with a heart tap, which will be our nod till we live in these unusual times of pandemic. But it's a big hug from all of us. So I'm going to ask everyone to please rise as we open the ark.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. The Tor v'Tor nagid God lecha. The Tor v'Tor, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, the Tor v'Tor, these lips will praise your name.
Hugging anyway, okay, I'm hugging.
Looking back on the journey that we carry in our heart, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. L'torvator nagid God lecha. L'torvator, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'torvator, these lips will praise your name. L'torvator, nagid God lecha. L'torvator, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'torvator, these lips will praise your name. L'torvator, nagid God lecha. L'torvator, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'torvator, these lips will praise your name. L'torvator, these lips will praise your name. L'torvator, these lips will praise your name.
Mazel tov to all of our confirmands. I'm going to ask you each to stand up before our community. All of you, confirmation students, please stand up. For I'm going to take this little step back here. I look up to every single one of you, not just in that way, but as leaders and as teachers, and you have an entire community before you who also do the same, not just our grown-ups, but our young people as well. There are many of our young people in this community are learners, and if that is you, anyone in one of our learning programs, would you stand up as well, please? Because we are here, that's you and you and you, all of you, stand up. We are here this evening not only to honor our confirmation students who have studied at Temple Beth Elohim, my friends, all the way through 12th grade. And I'm looking across the room and I'm expecting the same from all of you as well. But we are here to bless you as our learners this evening, as you have also accomplished a year of learning. So our community is going to recite these words of blessing upon all of you, our learners. Let's join together. God, source of knowledge, creator of life and goodness, connection and love, bless all of these students of Torah in our midst. We thank you for their opportunity to learn and grow in our community. As our students complete a meaningful year of exploration on their Jewish journey, we reflect not only on their accomplishments, but on new friends and teachers made, on the blessing of meeting face to face. God, bless these learners with continued curiosity and joy found every time they connect with our tradition. May the values and lessons learned help shape their minds, hearts, and souls into young people eager to make our world a better place. May they go from strength to strength, from joy to joy, and let us all say, Amen. So Mazel Tov on a wonderful year of journeying, a year of learning. We expect your journey to continue next year, so we will see you, of course, then. So now, that was a whole prolonged Shehechianu moment. Whether you realize it or not, we're celebrating birthdays and anniversaries and lost teeth and moments of learning. So let's join together with joy in these words.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kirmanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai
are now going to break. Rabbi Sherman is leading the Zoom community. We're only in the sanctuary without the Zoomers. So now I can address everyone just in the sanctuary and not on Zoom as well. We just want to say we're really glad you're here. If you're staying for dinner, our confirmation families are going to go outside to the tent for dinner and program. And our K through 7 families are going to be in our community gathering space after the service. Believe it or not, we had some cancellations, surprise, surprise, which means that we have more space. If people haven't signed up and want to stay for dinner, please join us. Other announcements. We are honoring Rabbi Sherman in 2 weeks. Really excited to celebrate his years at TBE.
I will add a word before we get to 2 weeks. Next Shabbat, a very special Shabbat before Memorial Day. Of course, we will remember and honor those who have served our country, but we'll be welcoming friends and guests from a local church and hearing from Eric Rosen, who will give the Devar Torah that night. So join us next week.
Lots taking place in the community. We have the Summer Institute starting really soon, a great summer of learning on Zoom. There's so much taking place, but I think next week we also have our first gathering to prepare ourselves to welcome our first Ukrainian families that we'll be adopting. So as many of you know, we have welcomed people from Syria, we have welcomed people from Afghanistan, and now we'll excitedly welcome to America those from the Ukraine. The big difference here with Ukrainians is we're welcoming women and children because the men are staying there to fight. So it requires some extra help because they won't have a worker in the home, but largely women are staying with their children, getting them accustomed and acclimated to the United States, and we'll be helping them every step of the way. So please join us for that session. Now let's continue with words of Mourner's Kaddish.
Actually, can we count first before
we certainly can.
We've made it this far, so I don't want to
miss.
Let's do it.
We don't want to miss it.
We've made it 5 full weeks of counting the Omer. Hopefully you've joined us in reflection online. But let's recite the blessing. Are we going to chant the blessing? Am I going to say the blessing? Let's recite it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer, which means, praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom chamisha u'shloshim yom shehem chamisha shavuot la'omer. Today is 35 days, which is 5 weeks of the Omer.
So we turn now to a moment of memory, a moment of recounting legacy. In our community, we are remembering several recently deceased members. We are thinking of Leon Dogan, Sally Glickman, Kevin Kirschenbaum, Marilyn Quicker, Catherine Lanza, Jennifer Nessen, Harry Rich, Michael Robinson, Ruth Sarafi, and Ralph Zimmerman. If there's anyone here in the congregation this evening who is remembering a loved one, perhaps for a yahrzeit, the anniversary of their loved one's death, for Shloshim, for an immediate family member, 30 days, or Shana, for a parent, the first year, I invite you to rise so that we may come around and hear their names spoken aloud, so that we may remember them here within our community. We rise together in support of the mourners, and we turn to page 598 for words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitz Gadal, Yitz Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chaye Echon, U'vyom Echon, U'vchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala U'bizman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'alam U'lamei Amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudusha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Do I get the honor of calling forward our Bar Mitzvah student? Cameron. Cam is here to lead us in Kiddush, and we're so glad that you are here, Cam. Come on up. The rest of us are going to turn to page 123. We're going to give you the Kiddush cup that you get to raise nice and high.
While he gets ready, I just want to welcome all our visitors to Temple Beth Elohim. You're glad you're with us. If you want to say hello, please come forward. We'd love to meet you. To all of our guests who are here for our confirmands, Mazel Tov, we're thrilled you're with us. And let's recite Kiddush together. Will you just get us started and we'll join with you? Give us a good Baruch.
Baruch
atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu
melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchatanu.
Lift it nice and high.
Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabat.
L'chaim, you get to take a sip.
You get to take a sip if you want.
It should be juice, I hope. Juice?
I think.
Awesome. To you and to your family, we as a community say Mazel Tov.
And
Cam, don't go anywhere. We'll uncover the challah too. Josh, you wanted to thank some folks?
Absolutely. So before we take some challah and have our blessing to join us for dinner, I wanted to thank our prayer leaders. Not only do we have Noam and Mark and Ben added as our adult prayer leaders, but our tefillah band, giving them some props. We have Zach and Sarah, confirmands as well. I don't know how we'll fill your shoes. We'll get there soon. And Jake and Elijah, who had to leave early, want to give a big thank you to our tefillah band as our prayer leaders tonight.
All right. Challah's ready. Ready, everybody? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. A really quick beneath the mask. We'll keep you perfect. Then mask up again because you have your bar mitzvah tomorrow. Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu.
Dinner, everybody.
Oyevo shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Yes. Oyevo shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu. Oyevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Oyevo
Oh, Matt, give me one moment. I gotta say congrats to some 12th graders. You look beautiful.